Not every sidekick became a legend like Robin. Some of DC's most promising partners were pushed aside, forgotten, or written out of history. A teenage hero once promoted as the future of the Justice League, now erased from continuity. A sidekick who stood by his mentor for years, only to vanish without explanation. And a young heroine whose star burned bright, before DC abandoned her storyline. These weren't minor experiments, they were fan favorites left behind. So which sidekicks did DC abandon? Here are 10 popular DC sidekicks who disappeared. At number 10 is Sparky. Sparkington J. Northrup, known as Sparky, was the teenage partner of the Golden Age Blue Beetle Dan Garrett. He wore a smaller version of the Beetle's chainmail costume and fought against gangsters and occasional wartime saboteurs. His peak came between 1942 and 1943, when he appeared regularly in Blue Beetle stories and even stood beside his mentor on the cover of Blue Beetle issue 15. By 1944, Sparky was gone from the pages without explanation. When Blue Beetle's mythos was later revived under Charlton and eventually DC, the mantle passed to Ted Kord and then Jaime Reyes, but Sparky was never brought back. Unlike other abandoned sidekicks, Sparky has never been reintroduced in modern continuity. His name only appears in historical references that note he was Blue Beetle's first partner. No successor has taken up his identity, and he has not appeared in any retelling of Blue Beetle's history. Sparky's brief career ended as suddenly as it began, leaving him erased from the legacy he once shared. At number 9 is Thomas aka Pieface. Thomas Kalmaku first appeared in Green Lantern issue 2 in 1960. He worked as a mechanic at Ferris Aircraft and quickly became the trusted confidant of Hal Jordan, the Silver Age Green Lantern. Unlike most of Hal's co-workers, Tom knew his secret identity. He helped cover for Hal's sudden disappearances, kept his secret safe, and often supported him from the ground, playing the role of a true partner without wearing a costume. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Tom appeared regularly in Green Lantern's adventures, always close by as Hal's trusted friend. His biggest moment came in 1988's Millennium event, when he was chosen as one of the New Guardians, and briefly gained powers that allowed him to bring out the best in people. But over time, the stories moved away from Hal's earthbound life. The offensive nickname Pieface, once tied to Tom, made writers reluctant to use him, and eventually he disappeared from ongoing comics. Today, he is rarely seen, remembered as Hal Jordan's most loyal ally who quietly faded from the spotlight. At number 8 is Robin Beyond, aka Matt McGinnis. Matt McGinnis was the younger brother of Terry McGinnis, the Batman of Neo Gotham. Under the watchful eye of an older Bruce Wayne, Matt followed in tradition and became the first Robin of the Batman Beyond timeline. Reluctant at first, Terry eventually trained his brother, and Matt donned a high-tech Robin suit to stand at his side. His peak came in the late 2000s, when hints from Batman Beyond 2.0 were realized in the Rebirth-era Rise of Robin arc. There, Matt proved himself in battle, showing the courage that finally gave Terry the partner every Batman had before him. But his time as Robin ended abruptly. In the 2020 storyline The Final Joke, Matt was captured and manipulated into striking against his brother. The trauma convinced Bruce Wayne to retire him from the role, fearing for his safety. Since then, he has not returned to action. In the current future of Neo Gotham, Matt lives a normal life as Terry's younger brother, remembered as the Robin who shone briefly before being abandoned. The next 3 sidekicks weren't forgotten quietly. One wore Catwoman's mask, one trained with the Bat family, and one gave her life for the Titans. At number 7 is Holly Robinson, Catwoman's protege. Holly Robinson was first introduced in Batman Year One in 1987 as a runaway who became Selina Kyle's closest friend. Selina trained her, and years later, Holly stepped into a bigger role. During the 2000s, in Ed Brubaker's Catwoman run, Holly became Selina's partner on Gotham's streets. She even saved Selina's life in a moment of self-defense, proving she was more than just a sidekick. Her peak came after Infinite Crisis. With Selina giving birth and stepping back, Holly donned the Catwoman suit. From Catwoman issue 53 to 72, she fought villains like Angleman and Film Freak, carrying Selina's mantle. But her time as Catwoman ended when she was framed for murder, forcing her into hiding. This spiraled into Countdown to Final Crisis, where Holly was manipulated by Granny Goodness into joining the Female Furies. After Selina reclaimed her identity, Holly drifted away. In Rebirth's Batman issue 15 and later issues, Holly reappeared only to betray Selina and play a role in the collapse of her relationship with Bruce Wayne. Arrested soon after, Holly Robinson's story closed behind prison walls, leaving her legacy as the sidekick who fell from trusted partner to convicted criminal. At number 6 is Flamebird. Betty Kane was introduced in the early 1960s as Betty Kane, the niece of Batwoman Kathy Kane. Wearing her own costume as Batgirl, she partnered with Batwoman and often joined Batman and Robin on their adventures. For several years, she appeared regularly in Batman family stories, serving as a youthful reflection of Robin. After Crisis on Infinite Earths, Batwoman was erased from continuity and Batgirl was retired, with Bet fading from comics for a time before returning as Flamebird. She resurfaced years later as Flamebird, helping form the Titans West team and stepping into the role of a young hero once again. Her peak return came in the late 2000s when she was reintroduced as Batwoman's cousin. Trained by Kate Kane, she adopted the codename Hawkfire and fought at Batwoman's side. Her determination brought her into Gotham's darkest battles, but a near-fatal injury and the end of Batwoman's series removed her from the spotlight. After years of absence, Bet returned briefly in 2023 in DC's Legion of Bloom. Alive but inactive, she remains forgotten, a one-time Batgirl. At number 5 is Aqua Girl I, Tula. Tula was introduced in Aquaman issue 33 in 1967 as an Atlantean princess who adopted the name Aqua Girl. She became close to Garth, the first Aqualad, and often supported both him and Aquaman in their underwater battles. Though never Aquaman's direct pupil, she was part of his circle and later fought alongside the Teen Titans, officially joining their ranks in the mid-1970s. For a time, Atlantean politics pushed her into the role of queen, but her greatest importance came as Aqualad's partner and ally during the late 1960s through the early 1980s. Her peak ended during Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1985. In that story, Tula died after being poisoned in toxic waters unleashed by chemo. Her sacrifice removed her permanently from the Titans and Aquaman's world. DC never restored her to life. She resurfaced only as a Black Lantern during Blackest Night in 2009, confronting Tempest and in occasional flashbacks. Later continuities reintroduced new versions of Tula as an Atlantean warrior, but never again as Aqua Girl. The original remains dead, remembered only in memorials and Aqualad's grief. At number 4 is Snapper Carr, Justice League's teen mascot. Lucas Snapper Carr first appeared in the Brave and the Bold issue 28 in 1960, the same issue that introduced the Justice League of America. A normal teenager known for his habit of snapping his fingers, he became the League's honorary member and mascot. Though powerless, he monitored their headquarters, covered for them in public, and sometimes provided insights that helped the heroes win. For most of the 1960s, Snapper was a regular part of Justice League of America comics. His peak ended in Justice League of America issue 77 in 1969. In that story, the Joker tricked him into revealing the League's secret base. Humiliated, Snapper resigned, and his role with the team was over. Editorially, readers had grown tired of him, and the betrayal gave a clean way to remove him. Years later, during Invasion. In 1988, Snapper developed teleportation powers and joined the Blasters, a short-lived team of superhumans. He later worked with Young Justice and Checkmate before fading again. Today, Snapper Carr is alive but inactive, remembered as the League's forgotten sidekick. And the final 3 reveal DC's harshest exits: a young Archer who walked away, a Green Arrow heir written out, and an alien partner abandoned. At number 3 is Arrowette. Sissy King-Jones was inspired by Green Arrow and Speedy, and with encouragement from her mother, she became a skilled teenage archer. She entered the superhero community in the late 1990s, joining Young Justice in Young Justice issue 4. Fighting alongside Impulse, Wonder Girl, and Secret, she became a valued member of the team and quickly earned her place as one of its most reliable young heroes. Her peak came during the Young Justice series from 1998 to 2003. Sissy's close friendships with her teammates defined her character, and her archery skills often turned the tide in battle. But her career was cut short in Young Justice issues 16 and 17 when her counselor was murdered. Overcome with grief, Sissy nearly killed the villain responsible. Realizing how far she had gone, she decided to retire from superhero life. She later gained fame as an Olympic gold medalist in archery, choosing a different path. Sissy returned briefly in Rebirth's Young Justice, 2019, helping the team one last time. Today, she remains retired, remembered as the archer who walked away from heroics. At number 2 is Connor Hawke, the second Green Arrow. Connor Hawke, the son of Oliver Queen, first appeared in 1994 and quickly rose to prominence as Green Arrow's successor. After Oliver's death, Connor took up the mantle headlining Green Arrow. He trained with martial arts masters, fought beside Black Canary, and even joined the Justice League during Grant Morrison's run. Batman himself acknowledged Connor as one of the finest fighters of his generation. But when Oliver returned, Connor was slowly pushed aside. In 2007, he was poisoned and written out of action, and then in 2011, the New 52 reboot erased him completely. For nearly a decade, he did not exist in DC continuity. No mentions, no cameos, and no role in Green Arrow's family. A legacy hero who had once led his father's title was abandoned, removed from history by editorial choice. Connor finally resurfaced in 2021's Robin series, fighting Damian Wayne in the Lazarus Tournament. Today, he has returned, but only in a limited supporting role, far from the spotlight he once commanded. At number 1 is Zook, Martian Manhunter. Zook was introduced in the early 1960s as Martian Manhunter's impish alien partner. He arrived on Earth through an interdimensional portal and quickly bonded with John Johns, who at the time was living undercover as a police detective. Zook stood out for his antennae and unusual powers. He could sense heat signatures, track criminals, and even alter his body temperature to extreme levels. Though he spoke broken English, he became John's constant companion, lightening the tone of the Martian Manhunter stories and often saving the day with his strange abilities. From 1963 to 1968, Zook appeared regularly in backup strips in Detective Comics and later in House of Mystery. His peak ended in 1969, when Martian Manhunter was written off Earth in Justice League of America issue 71. With John gone, Zook simply vanished from the narrative without explanation. Since then, he has been almost entirely absent. His only returns have been rare Easter eggs, such as a cameo in Ambush Bug, Year None in 2008. Today, Zook remains erased from continuity, abandoned as Martian Manhunter's forgotten sidekick. Which sidekick story surprised you the most? Comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden stories.